here with Bomber Brown today in Coraki. Welcome, Bomber. Are you able to tell us a little bit about the operations that you've got going on here?
Yeah, purchased the farm in '99 and put TeaTree in it from there on right up to 2022 till the flood.
Yeah, okay. And how many hectares do you have here in total?
I had 33 hectares and in 6 blocks that were under different TeaTree seedlings.
Yep. So in the late March, well, in the late February, early March floods of 2022, you were pretty badly affected?
Yeah, the whole farm basically went under 3 metres of water for basically nearly all the trees were under for at least 2 weeks.
Yep. And then there was another flood event after that as well, wasn't
That's
there?
right. The water went down to about a foot deep, 300 mil deep through the trees for 2 weeks.
Yep.
And then it came back over at least a metre over the top of them for another 9-10 days.
Yep. So in total, that was about nearly a month that the trees were sitting underwater.
Yes, probably 3 weeks or more underwater, and then, you know, from when it rained to when it stopped, probably 6 or 8 months in water.
Yeah, yep. So some really extensive waterlogging conditions for the soil.
That's correct, yeah.
Yep. And when the water was sitting on top of the paddocks, was it stagnant or was it flowing, or, you know, how did the flood sort of unfold here?
All of our floods in Coraki basically come from the backwater first. So I get the backwater over all my trees and then it makes its way into town.
So the waterlogging conditions after the last event, they lasted probably 6 months at least?
At least, yeah. Well, in April, would have been the sort of end of March, start of April, we got that second flood, which was a metre deep in the shed over on the farm. The big one was 3 metres deep, so it was 2 metres less at the farm, but the trees were still underwater for 10 days, and that water hung around till probably mid-October, you know, probably start of October before they were out of water, and then, you know, start of November before you could even drive a tractor onto it. Yeah.
And what were the weeds doing at that point in time? Had they started growing yet, or was everything still pretty
No,
slow?
they were suppressed still, but once you could get on the ground and that, they started to come pretty quick.
Yeah. And how long after the ground sort of dried up did you give the trees to shoot back before you could sort of decide if they were going to survive or not?
I waited till sort of mid-January type of thing before we, you know, end of December, mid-January, before we decided that nothing was coming back. Had an agronomist mate of mine that's looked after the farm for years. We walked around most of the paddocks and looked and decided, you know, there's nothing coming back now. If it was going to shoot, it would have shot by now. So yeah, made the decision just to start ripping it out.
So what paddock passes did you do basically to start the ploughing out process?
Well, the year before the flood, I'd already decided to take a couple of bush seeded blocks out. So they were chopped out with a stump chopper that I made up, that just cut them off 6-8 inches under the ground, and then I just dished them out. But the rest of the farm, once the trees were all dead, I had another contractor mate across the river here that's got a 6-ton plough. He came over and did 2 passes over it, dished it all up. And now I'm just in the process of trying another farm's big stick rake to see if I can windrow them up and burn them, you know. So other people across the river have had different processes of ploughing them and trying to rake them up with excavators and that, but I'm just going to try and stick rake it first.
100%. There's a lot of biomass under the soil that needs to be sort of moved on before you can prepare planting.
It's the problem of wanting to laser the paddock again. That's the biggest problem. If you weren't going to laser the paddock, and you know, you could probably just plant, you know, a rotary hoe it and then plant it, but because we've got to put a laser bucket over it, if it picks up some of them stumps and drags around the paddocks, they just put big scallops in the paddock everywhere with the laser bucket, and won't be able to do its job properly. So you really need to sort of take out, you know, the leftover biomass, you know, tree stumps.
Very good. And then, so once the stick raking process is complete, what will follow on from that? Burn. Just
burn. Once we stick rake it into windrows, if we can, we'll burn it, and then after it's burnt, I'll probably disc it again and stick rake again, just to get the last bits, and then after that, just put a crop of beans through or something, chop them in, and then laser it when we get a chance.
Yep, and then go forward with the TeaTree.
That's right.
From
yeah,
there.
yeah.
Yep.
After it's lasered.
Yep. Very good.
And just plant a manure crop like soybean or favour beans or something, just to chop in, and before we do a level on it, we'll probably, or after it's levelled, we'll probably put some lime and some fertiliser stuff in the soil just to bring it up to what it should be, and then plant.
You'll be starting with a really nice base there.
That's
you'll have
right,
the organic matter from the beans, a little bit of lime, some pre-fertiliser, and
that's
you'll be
right,
good to go.
Yeah, that's it.